Hello and welcome to the Arsenal Bite Size Podcast. I'm your host, Clayton, and here to review the absolute demolition that was Arsenal 5, Man City 1. With me is Uncle Mike, who we organised this literally about 8 hours ago on the phone on Holloway Road. Uncle Mike, how are you doing?
Good morning. You all right, mate?
Hey, I am doing all right. One word to describe yesterday for you?
Carnage.
Carnage. It was
Limbs.
absolute carnage. I've obviously I go to every home game, right? And this season has felt stress. I can't put it into words. Like every game this season has either felt like we've kind of just won when we've been expected to, or they've been really stressful. There hasn't felt like a really. There's been one
enjoyable
game.
No enjoyable game where you can just sit back and go, right, I know. Yeah.
Just have a jolly. Like, even the Man United one, like I know the result was great there, but I think the first half was quite stressful. So, like, that was a great one. But I think that was midweek. And then the North London derby, to be fair, that was great. But like this
again,
one,
it was on a Wednesday night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it sort of changes the vibe a little bit on that. Whereas
And
this Sunday afternoon, 4:30, everyone's out.
Exactly, mate. This was unbelievable. So I've not gone out at all this season. And like in the 22-23 season, I was basically out every single game. So this for me was unbelievable. I don't even know where to start with it. I guess like, how were you feeling going into the game? I think that's always a good place to start.
Do you know what? It was one of those where for the first time, you're sort of up against them and you're thinking, we should do these today.
Yeah.
And then just based on how they've been playing since, the last 3 months or whatever, but then they are getting a bit more into form. And then you see the Sky reports and it says they're the form team.
Newcastle unbeaten in 6, weren't they?
Yeah. So they, 4 wins and a couple of draws in there. So they were on decent form. I think they'd almost gone under the radar a little bit, that they were coming back. And I just think the rivalry in the match between us is so big, it goes out of the window, their form, because they're gonna show up, or they would like to show up. How was you feeling?
Similar to you. But one thing I'll say, funny enough, the mate I was with who's in the chat, Lee, morning, mate. When the lineups dropped, I felt so confident because do you know what it was? Like their front four on paper scared me when I saw it, of like Savinho, Mamouche, Foden, Haaland. But I saw that midfield and I was like, mate, that is wafer thin. Like that could absolutely be battered through. So I felt confident when I saw the lineups drop. But going into it as well, like when I did the preview, as I was talking it through, I was just, do you know what it is? Like, I think I almost get myself caught up in these patterns of forgetting how good we are sometimes. And it's like, I kind of get these reminders in these big games. Like, is it we're unbeaten against the big 6 in 17 games or something now?
Yeah, like, isn't it something like 2 years for Liverpool or days, they do it. We've got a very, very good record in those big games. And I was asking after the game last night, can you remember the last time we put 5 past? And I'm not including Chelsea last year.
Yeah, but other than that, no.
But other than that, when was the last time we put 5 past one of those big teams that have, over the years, absolutely punished us? So it was nice to get a little bit of payback. There's a difference beating West Ham 5-0 than beating City 5-0 or 5-1,
And that's the thing. It's like, I think this is the thing as well. The timing of when you play teams, like we haven't played City in their worst patch.
Never.
And the one thing you said there as well, like these teams in these one-off games, they do come with their absolute all in how they prepare mentally and tactically and stuff. And so like these games, I know it's a cliche when people talk about cup finals, but they prepare for these games more than they would against Southampton at home and stuff. So like they bring their absolute best. And I think to wallop them like that, and I think for me, it's all the added needle and bite around it, which I think started a few years ago with, when was it New Year's Day when Rodri scored that last? Yeah.
And
I think it all started then.
Yeah, he didn't get the yellow, or he could have got. I think he could have even been sent off. But wasn't that the game where Xhaka gives a penalty away?
I can't remember. I can't remember, but it was the one where Gabriel got sent off. He had the second
Yeah,
yellow. I
yeah,
think that was
yeah.
against Jesus, actually.
Yeah, it was. It was. And then it was the last minute. We played really well. That was the first sign of the Arteta sort of
Yeah.
it was our first big game, a statement against them, wasn't it? Where we looked before we've been so poor against them. And then that game in particular, and then it sort of heightened since then, hasn't it?
Yeah, big time. And this is the thing, like we'll talk about it. I think in terms of this game, obviously we've got a time limit today, so I want to take it. I want to do player by player, but I also kind of want to just break the game into chunks because I do feel like the first half had mini halves within it where it felt like 10-15 minute spells of us,
Yeah.
20-minute spells for them, and then 10-15 for us. But like you were in the ground, you had a very distorted view. So like what?
Yeah.
So you were in the first row,
yeah,
right?
I was in the front row behind the goal, with the Ashburton Army to my left. So
I bet that didn't do your knee any good.
No, so I could just lean on the seat.
Right.
I obviously, because I'm tall, I didn't want to piss everyone else off behind me, the front row. And then we had some arseholes with half and half scarves.
Mate, I saw loads of half scarves yesterday. I don't know what that was about.
The worst thing about it was, so we're talking through the game. Turns out to be American, cool, whatever. And then we're talking through the game after one of the goals, and he's gone, "Oh yeah, man, you guys are crazy. You guys are crazy." And we're like, "Yeah, whatever." And he's gone, "I'm a Man United fan."
Oh, fuck off.
And I just instantly turned around and just, I ain't fucking talking to you anymore, mate.
That's
so I was a Man United, and he's gone, "Oh, but I hate City. I hate City."
Oh,
and I'm
fuck
like,
off.
"You're a Man United fan sitting in the fucking clock-ins watching City Arsenal. You're two hated rivals, and you've bought a fucking scarf with both of them on it."
Oh, a helmet.
Fuck off. So yeah, so we had that. But yeah, I couldn't see I had a great view of the Havertz miss, which was.
I bet you did. That was right in front, wasn't it?
It was right, mate. It was right. I just, my head to my hand. I was just like, oh my god, I've never seen. But then it was bad. There's no defending that. You can't defend that miss. That was bad. But the start that we had was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, mate. Flipping hell. Like the pressing for that. Who was it that won it? Was it Trossard on Akanji?
It was Trossard, yeah.
And then it came out to Rice.
Rice, yeah. And then he put in Havertz, and then you're like, Havertz is like, should he shoot? Should he shoot? And it was a lovely, but then it was a deflection, wasn't it?
Yeah.
From Odegaard. So
I mean, I don't think the pass from Havertz was perfect. Like it did bobble a little bit, didn't it?
No. And that was right in front of us. So then we obviously went mad. And then I'm like, right, okay, we need a second, because obviously we always need a second. We do. And then I just think we played really well but then as you say, they sort of got back into it, and it was a bit more of a wrestling match then, wasn't it? Sort
of. That's exactly how it felt. Like it's funny you said wrestling, because my mate sat next to me. I said boxing. Like just when you see these heavyweights going at it, and not like full hammer blows, but like there's periods in boxing where like one fighter is jabbing quite consistently, and then almost like they use the jabs to have a breather in a way, and then like the momentum swings. And I can't remember the timelines when I was feeling this way, but within the 45 minutes, I feel like after the goal, we had a 10-minute spell where like we had the ball. And I may have this the wrong way around, but it just felt like it consistently flipped between us having 10 minutes of the ball and then one person like a Partey, them winning the ball back and having like 15 minutes of like having the ball but not really doing anything with it, and then a Partey would win it back, and then we'd have some momentum, and it just felt like it was consistently swinging, but without it really leading to anything. Is how I felt in the first half, and I do feel like I was fine with it, because especially as we were 1-0 up, but I did think there was an element of like that hard and fast start, scoring in the second minute. It was like, oh, just go for the kill, and I do think we were trying to do that, and then the minute City kind of got their studs on the ball and won it back, I did feel like that momentum. It wouldn't even say momentum. It just felt like possession was mostly in their favor in the first half. And it's funny, I'm looking at the stats now. So first half, their possession was 61%. Second half, it dropped down to 47, and it did feel representative of the game. But yeah, going into half time, I'd say if I had to summarize the first half, I just felt like we got a great early goal, didn't really capitalize on it despite looking like we would for a 10-15 minute spell, but then it felt like it was all City. Did you feel like that?
Yeah, because it's all down the other end. The whole game seemed to be down the other end. So you had those two. We had the Martinelli offside, but that was way offside, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That was a
fuck
nice
me.
little.
Could you tell from where you were that it was
No,
off?
I was
Okay, right.
celebrating. I was celebrating. So, because it was there, and I thought it was a lovely because it was just on the side there, so it's
Nice
like a
dink.
lovely little dink. And then you just encouraged. I just thought, when it's one of those games, you could just say, and you've said it before, you just know we were on it
Yeah.
from the. And okay, they were still to and fro-in, but I was confident that it wasn't going to be a day where we get spanked by them. I think we were certainly holding our own at half time.
Yeah, 100%. And the one thing that we briefly touched on it, but yeah, that Havertz chance as well. I think that if that goes in, like, I mean, what could the scoreline have been if that goes in? But like, what we have to talk about it. What do you think was going through his head? And also, how good was Declan Rice to even win that ball back? Jesus Christ!
Oh, that was so good. It just looks confidence is shot. I don't know, but he's. I thought he played again. I thought he played really well yesterday.
So do I.
I'm so glad he got his goal, and it was a lovely goal. Well, again, where I was standing from, I thought it was Martinelli because I didn't see the ball passed on. I just saw sort of Kai dovetail with him, and then he just sort of went on and buried that. But yeah, I for this, it's just a shame because it's the reaction that happens, and it's more online with the Havertz miss like that. And did you notice the players like Odegaard and I think it was Rice as well, were trying to G the crowd up straight away after the Havertz miss?
Yeah,
to sort of say like, don't get on his back, just carry on supporting him. So
yeah, no, I think on that, like, I think he was just going for like a very precise finish. He was like, I think in that moment, some people just looked to hit the target. I think he was going for the absolute corner. It's like, mate, you don't need to do that in that situation.
No, just
like,
bury it. Be a bit more instinctive and just smash it.
Yeah, I did feel like in that moment the ground probably felt like it was eating him alive because even he kind of put his shirt over his face and stuff, didn't he? But I just wanted to talk about it though because Declan Rice to win the ball back to make that happen, and like it's been like a month or two. He has been absolutely phenomenal, and it's like there's games like this where I feel like for years we had games where we'd question in the big games. Oh, is this player going to turn up? Is this player going to turn? With him, you never question it. If anything, the bigger the game, the more you're going to get from him. And oh my god,
it's that Everton at home where you're thinking, because he maybe doesn't feel that he has to, but he's at a level, isn't he? I can play Everton or whoever. I'm at that level, but when it comes to the cities and the Liverpools, I'm going to this level. He was just immense. Some of those drives forwards, I just think Partey played well as well. Didn't he?
He was phenomenal. I thought. I don't actually know who officially got man of the match yesterday. I've not.
No, I don't. I think
I don't know.
It might be Skelly, but no, I'm not sure.
I feel like Partey, Lewis-Skelly, or Rice could have been it for me. But yeah, I thought Partey was absolutely outstanding. He just like on the ball, off the ball. I think people had the doubts about him off the ball this season. Even just Arsenal's structure yesterday, like, mate, we were incredible. The way we manipulated space all over to get. Yeah, the way we manipulated space all over was just unbelievable. And like that second half in particular, it was a clinic. First half felt controlled, measured.
Yes.
Second half was just like, oh, mate, we were taking the piss. And
just put them to the sword.
But obviously it didn't start like that. So it's funny, like 54th minute, it's 1-0 and it ends 5-1 in the game. But yeah, second half, Haaland obviously gets his goal. And I think we were all kind of going into it hoping we'd pocket him and this and that. And in that moment, it's crap. It had to be him.
And then the fear is that it's going to go on and he's going to get a couple more and they've got the tails up and then suddenly all the stick that we've been, all that, it just goes out the window. So that was why it was so important. Was it 38 seconds?
Was it 38 seconds? I don't know.
38 seconds was the reply and and go ahead. And that was that again. Do you think like there was a couple of like deflected goals?
Yeah, so Partey's took a deflection.
Odegaard's took a deflection.
Yeah.
There was the Skelly I think the keeper makes a save, but pushes it. He could have pushed it round the post, but he pushes it
pushed it into the side.
the post.
Yeah.
So, and it's just one of those, we've seen it over the last certainly 3-4 weeks, where chances like that haven't been going for us, and they've got blocks, and there's been blocked, or it's that, and it was nice yesterday for all of those just to go to get the slice of rubber the green in that sense, you know.
The one thing I loved about Partey's goal as well is the fact that I've got nothing against this guy for what it's worth, but the fact that it went off John Stones. Like, I've got nothing against John Stones, but like
he was getting some stick from the Arsenal fans yesterday. So from where
I think it's because in the 2-2, he obviously got the equaliser, and like I think. Yeah, like, again, I've personally got nothing against him, but like the way they fucking celebrated that, and you know me, right? Like, I am never celebration police, but I think for me, it's in the context of like, I've grown to fucking despise that football club, Man City, and I think it's all the hypocritical comments and statements and belittling, and then it's like when you rise up to it, it's like, no, you're not allowed to. And I think the whole Rodri like mentality, they came for a draw nonsense. Like, they didn't beat us in that season when he said that, and I think they celebrated at the Etihad. Like, I get it, right? If you're a last-minute equaliser, regardless, you're going to go mental, but you can't do that when you've been a hypocrite in your football team, going out and saying shit like that. So I think that's probably where some of the stick for Stones comes from. But like the fact that it ricocheted off him, for me, it just felt lovely. Like karma. Like, I'm not even a believe in karma, but it made me feel like it exists. And then so we're going 2-1 up, and then I don't know about you, but in that moment, I'm like, oh, we're winning this. Like,
that was
momentum.
It's right. Enjoy yourself, boys. Now we're having it. You know.
Because even like I do think the play style of the game in general in the first half kind of influenced the crowd, because I do think the crowd got a little bit flat at periods in the first half. But then
second, you know what? I've never seen a City fan they were the worst set of fans I've seen at Arsenal for years. And I'm not. This isn't, the old. Some teams you always go, they're the worst fans they've ever come in. They were no noise, because I was next to them, right?
Yeah.
The only time they cheered their goal, and that was it. And then I think it was 38 seconds later, we're scoring, so we shut them up. You know, so maybe the game state had something to do with it. I've never seen them so quiet,
mate. There's only been one set of fans this season, in my opinion, that have been good, and that was Man United's away end. And I must say, I do think, again, for everything I don't like about them as a club, I do think their away support is unbelievable. But the two worst set of fans have been City and Tottenham. I thought Tottenham's away end was pony as well. But like it's immediate. If it was 38 seconds, that's unbelievable. I didn't know that. But what you said about the things kind of falling for us, like, have you seen the expected goals from this game?
Yeah, it's
quite low.
Yeah, and we got
so. Do you know what it is?
No, I saw something in my hazy hangover mood this morning. I saw something, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't look great. But
so I'm on Twitter. There's a few different ones, but the one I've got in front of me is Scott J. Willis. 2.2 expected goals to 0.6, but like, you obviously take into account a couple deflections. When Aries won the goal, which we'll talk about in a bit, and Lewis-Skelly's one, I reckon that's probably quite a low probability one as well, to be fair. But the fact that even he was on the fact that we had two Haaland boys on the score sheet, but Lewis-Skelly, I think, in the context of it was at the Etihad. I can't remember if he'd made his debut yet or not. Okay, but he came on in that game, didn't he? But he got booked in that game, and then there was the Haaland's, like, who the fuck are you sort of thing. 17 years old, mate, there's something about this guy that I can't quantify and put into words, where he's got that charisma about him. He's got the bollocks and the minerals to look like a player that's going to the top. Like,
you don't look at him at 17-year-old. No way. He hasn't got the mentality of a 17 or the body of a 17-year-old.
He's fearless, and it's like the way he kind of. I think the personality in how he plays football sums up his mentality. Like, it will take the ball. Like, he's never played left back in the youth level, by the way. No. And like, he's kind of come into like this really complicated position of inverted left back. Takes the ball in dangerous areas. Is brave on the ball. No fear. Like, I think some people in those positions get the ball and get scared, get it off. He takes it, rides challenges, weaves in and out, and his charisma. Like, against Tottenham when he he went off, and he's like, you can just tell there's something about the way someone carries themselves.
Yeah.
And like, you seen the video of him going to their away and calling them fucking pussies when we scored and stuff.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
He's got something about him. And
Not on the Spurs game.
yeah, in the Spurs game.
Yeah,
Spurs
yeah,
game,
yeah.
And
But
then
he's getting some stick yesterday. He's getting a bit of from the opposition fans for his celebration. Have you seen that?
I haven't. No, I've not really been.
So yeah, so there's a load of.
How can you give someone stick for that? I think that's just unreal.
The normal people, mate. Liverpool fans,
all right.
City fans, Chelsea fans piling on, saying, "Oh, what's all this? You're 17-year-old nobody. You're trying to say that to a guy who's won the treble and 2 league titles."
I think this is the thing.
The joke. It was a. You know what I mean? He's doing it as a
mate. Football is going way too serious, and like even there's a great tweet that I saw which literally sums up even just like celebrations and stuff. Let me try to find it. So John Clubb on Twitter, right? He said, "Trophies are how we define success. Days like yesterday are how I define being a match-going football fan. Living in the moment, losing your mind momentarily, and celebrating late into the night with pals. That's football. That's why we go up the Arsenal." And it's like, I feel like that's becoming the minority opinion. And it's like, again, like because we haven't won a trophy in 5 years, because we're probably not going to win the league, like we can't celebrate like yesterday. It's like, I think people have forgotten what it means to just go to football.
It's
all the social media lot, though.
That tweet sums it up for me. And then I briefly went on there today. I was off it completely. Like, I didn't even go on after the game last night. So went on, and it's just all. It's either opposition fans slagging off Skelly for doing that celebration, or
I haven't seen that.
Then it's the usual taunt of "you're still going to win, fuck all."
Yeah.
And like, "Oh, you're not going to have any," and you're like, "What can we do?" Right? We had to beat City, and it was a comprehensive slapping up of City. It wasn't, and that's the one thing I am actually quite glad about. There was no VAR controversy.
I thought the ref was decent, to be fair.
We had a decent game, and we got to say that when you have a decent.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier when you win. But
yeah.
I think, it's one of those where you're always going to argue, could the ref give it a foul our way or a foul that way, 50-50 sort of
But
stuff.
you want that to be the conversation, because that's football.
Yes, that's just a normal football match. And it's not making an outrageous decision that everyone has to go, what the fuck is all that about?
Yeah.
So it was just nice to have a relatively calm, enjoyable day out with your mates. And you could start looking at the deeper, but celebrations, please, isn't it? People want to piss on your chips when we're just having a good day. We've beat City. And it's the first time in 18 games.
Is it?
We've beaten it was some mad stats. Like I think we haven't got. We beat them at home last year, didn't we?
Oh yeah, no,
yeah. But we beat them at home last year. But I think it was like one win in 18. I think that was the. We've got. I was at the 5-0 at the Etihad 3 years ago. That was that.
Callum Chambers, Rob Holding.
So that was payback for me from yesterday. Was just enjoying a day like that. And then people could lay on and say you're not going to win the league, but. I had a fantastic
great day. Yeah. That was up there. Finn, who's sometimes on, he goes everywhere, home and away. I think he said that was his best ever home game, or up there. And it was definitely up there for me as well. It's one of my favourites.
Yeah. Because where else we go back to it? We've had some very, very big results, but you're not laying 5 on the champions. Many times, you're not putting. So it was brilliant.
Yeah, but I just loved that it was Lewis-Skelly that got that goal. But I loved the celebration. Question: do you think his shirt number is a Arsenal influenced decision by him? You think he's done that on purpose? Because it took me a few minutes to clock the chant go around 49 Lewis-Skelly. I thought it was just normal 49 undefeated. But do you think he's done that on purpose?
It would be nice. It would be nice, wouldn't it? He's a proper Arsenal boy, and he like 8, or from the ranks. And I just love his enthusiasm of like just what you said about the Spurs game. I saw the interview with Wrighty after. And he just seems, and he's come from a nice family that are very grounded.
Apparently, his mum's his agent as well.
Yeah, she's done a lot of work. she runs a course on academy kids.
All right.
So to help other kids, parents that have got kids in academies in all over the country, she's sort of done this course to help with all the pitfalls of. So he's a very grounded young man. So
yeah, nice.
So yeah, it was lovely to see, and he'd done a couple of tackles. I mean, I was actually saying before the game, I wanted Calafiori to play.
Did you? Fair play.
Well, I was in an Italian restaurant, so that always
you were slightly influenced.
Yeah, that always goes down quite well. But yeah, I just thought there was no reason not to give it to Skelly, but I was just like, Calafiori's a beast. He's a man. But we're
watching this.
We're seeing him turn into what we may not thought he could do, certainly at this stage. And he's going to have a dip, and he's going to have a, you know, and we're going to have to take him out for a bit, and that's why it might be a time now to take him out after today, purely off his fitness as well. You know, would you have Calafiori next
against Newcastle?
Yeah, that's
I don't know. Well, let's see.
That's another issue. But you know, I just think Calafiori is a bit more of a. But then you say that and contradict himself because Lewis-Skelly has just done what he's done.
Yeah,
and he's not.
And defensively, mate, he doesn't give him a sniff.
He's probably better than Calafiori defensively, isn't he?
Just looking at his stats, he had 7 ground duels, won 6 of them as well. And I think this is the thing. Like when he first came into the team, I didn't really get a feel for his physicality. I could tell technically he was amazing, but like as I'm watching him week in, week out, and again, the way I said, like the way he rides a tackle, the way he maneuvers in and out, like I don't know what your opinion of this player was, but like, I used to really rate Moussa Dembele, even though he played for Spurs, and I think there's a lot of similarities there in terms of how he weaves in and out and stuff. And like Lewis-Skelly is 18 years old, but he looks powerful. And like he
uses
his
big bum, and he he does the Saka toe, the Sterling under, and gives him a turn. We're talking yesterday. Could he eventually end up as your left eight?
Probably. Well, he's played there for the academy, so
and to do what he's doing is just unbelievable that he's not played in that position before, and he's effectively ended Zinchenko's Arsenal career.
Yeah. Very much. How have we done this? Like, got in the last few years, spawned a Bukayo Saka, Myles Lewis-Skelly, Ethan Nwaneri, and there's a Max Dowman coming through as well. Like
and that's why you see these players that are going to United, and you have the United fans sort of trying to give you
we don't give a shit.
Don't give a shit about it.
Yeah, literally. You know, 3-1, 62 minutes, and then City actually made a double sub, and this one made me laugh because Phil Foden, I think, is one of the most. I need to be careful with my words here because I don't think he's overrated, but I do think the perception against him is so different to reality. I think he is so inconsistent and gets so much excuses made for him. And like there was a thing coming out recently where he did an interview about the Euros and his position. So,
and did he say he was the best player in the Did he say he was like the best player in the Prem? In that, like,
I mean, to be fair, he did win Player of the Year. I think undeservedly, but. Like Bukayo Saka literally played out of position. You had like other people moving. Like he is someone that just gets so many excuses made for him, and I feel like I watch him in big games get absolutely pocketed and disappear so often. So that made me laugh when he was subbed on. It did make me laugh as well. McAtee came on, everyone did the who, and De Bruyne came on, everyone went who, and then you could hear a little like giggle after, and then like shit, it's De Bruyne.
yeah.
It was moments after that where Havertz makes it 4-1, and like on that goal again, I don't know if you could see this properly from your side, but like his movement was fucking quality for that. I can't remember who played. Partey played this one in, I want to say.
Yes,
he dropped the shoulder, played him through. And that like, again, he was facing, I can't describe this, but like Partey went from facing, I can't remember if he was facing our goal or like the other sideline, just dropped the shoulder, and within a half a second, this boom, Martinelli's gone through. Odegaard's running centrally. Havertz, the movement, why it was so good for me was he could see where Odegaard was. He went on the outside to give Martinelli option on his right. Odegaard was there on the left. It ended up with him, and what a finish that was. And I was just so happy for him because, like you said, I think otherwise everyone would have focused on that miss.
Yes, It just quiets it down a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah. And when was it? There was a moment where Rice played in Martinelli as well. I can't remember if that was in between the third and fourth, but.
And then we had the tackle from Havertz that came back and won the ball. and set us an attack. Do you remember that one? He came back all the way to the like on our third of our edge, almost on the edge of our box, and just won the ball, smashed into someone, won the ball, set off again, and I think it might have even been Haaland. And then we were just like Red Army, just steaming up the pitch, and you're just like that. And to say that's what I like about Havertz is that
his work rate is phenomenal.
I know, you know, we have again arguments with Arsenal fan in the half time on the concourse, slagging he's slagging off Havertz.
Oh right.
And I was like, mate, you're not, you know, it's that old. They just want to see a clinical striker, an Ian Light, and that they're not available anymore. So yeah, but it was good to. I didn't see him again after the game, but it was good. Me and another guy were saying he will score in the second half, and he's like, "Oh no, he's not going to." Anyway, so it was nice.
I bet that guy was singing Shakira when he.
Yeah, of course he was.
No, I do get it. Like it is frustrating when you see misses like that, but I think I'm just when someone works that hard, just get behind them. Like we need someone else in addition to him. Like
yes,
that's
and we need two. But Kai Havertz isn't a problem with us yesterday. So
no,
you know.
But we then made a couple subs. Nwaneri comes on, Marino.
We have to mention Ray's saves as well because
fuck me! What a save that was! Was that in the first half?
Yeah, that was in the first half.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And then he made another one that I didn't see because it was so far down the end, where it came in and he had to sort of dive to his left,
bottom right.
Bottom right, and that was important. So because I think I would say he's the best goalkeeper in the Premiership
this season. Can't really disagree with that.
But you can't then. I'm not saying like Alisson has been a better goalkeeper consistently over a period of time. But if you're telling me who's played, and Alisson's been injured as well this season, but who's number one goalkeeper with the saves and the way that he controls and the way that he plays can play the ball, it has to be Raya for me.
Can I give you a very unpopular opinion?
Yeah.
I think his long balls yesterday were a little bit off. I think like his control in the game was great. Like,
but then we don't know what the injury was, do we?
True.
If it was an injury, was it a little bit muscular and he wasn't ploughing through?
Yeah, that is true. I did feel like. Again, like I don't want it to be a criticism because I think he's been fucking phenomenal, and I agree. I think he's been the best goalkeeper in the league. You know what my thing is? I always get these minor details in my head that I can't get out of that, and I just feel like his long balls yesterday were a little bit inaccurate. I don't know if statistically that checks out, but that's the feeling I had when I was in there. They didn't feel like they were connecting to an Arsenal head, and obviously in these games we do tend to go long from goal kicks, but like in terms of what he does to control it in the first phase and his saves are unbelievable. So good. It is literally like having another cultured footballer in the team, not really a goalkeeper, which is unbelievable. But yeah, glad you mentioned that because I would have forgot that. But yeah, the best till last, Ethan Nwaneri, like the ability to do this consistently with that technique and power in the senior level is just like to have the goalkeeper just planted, like kind of accept defeat as like that's flying in.
What's going to happen, but it's just what can you do?
What a talent he is, and like he was screaming for that ball for ages, and what a pass that was as well from Rice. The ball kind of came into Rice, and just pinged it over to the side effortlessly, straight into his boot.
I can't remember it, but apparently it was like a 27 passing movement, or it might be 35.
I think it was 37. I saw. I'll try and find it.
The most pass goal. It seems, however, when that lasted a minute and a half or whatever. I can't remember any of that. I just remember the finish. You know,
me either. I don't remember any of that.
So it's not as though it was like. Sometimes you see these the build up and you say, right, wouldn't it be great if we got a goal on the back of that? It didn't feel like that, probably because it was so much passing. Every player touched the ball.
I think the reason
all
that
the way around,
do you know what? It probably. I mean, I'm not doubting the stat is correct, but like that was the period where we were taking the piss doing the olays. Maybe that's when it was when we were all just
and it counted as then suddenly it was like a bit that and then it was like bang bang. Rice with the ball like that. Then where he was there for ages with his hand up, wasn't it? Did you hear the new song in the concourse
for Nwaneri?
Yeah,
I don't think so, no.
No, I'm not singing it. But
one song that I did love, which I can't sing one word of it, was the Erling Haaland "Stay Humble." I'll let you fill in the words. But like,
What about the one asking where Pep's wife was? I did like that one.
I didn't hear that one.
Yeah,
Fuck, you know. But yeah,
I
thought
they were going for it, mate.
Our fans second half were in very good form. Like the Poznan in little spells.
There was Poznan all behind me. All behind, because it was the Ashburton lot. They were doing it. Yeah, that was just little pockets of that. It's just one of those days where I'm taking the piss today. You know,
100%. It was just everything. It was like the Lewis-Skelly 49 song, like Lewis-Skelly taking the piss with the celebration. Like again, that everyone's gonna get rattled by how we are, right? But like City are the ones that planted these seeds with the mentality of the draw, the stay humble bollocks, who the fuck are you when Haaland was speaking to Lewis-Skelly.
Haaland chucking a ball at Gabriel's head.
Everyone's glossed over that.
But now they want to talk about a 17-year-old doing a Zen celebration.
Yeah,
it's crazy, mate. We just know, again, we go down the paranoid Arsenal fan route, but we just know that the Arsenal always get treated differently. So, but I'm just so glad none of that was from yesterday. No controversies, none of that. So yeah,
I just love like the fact that. I think it was when it went 3-1, which is when the fans started to take the piss with the Erling Haaland chants.
And they never had a shot after that.
That's what I was literally just about to say. After that one goal, Man City in general just didn't have a shot at all. Like, that's insane.
That's crazy.
Like,
it's just madness that you're able to do that to City. I mean, again, we're talking, people will throw it back and say it's the worst City team but it's
not in this period since Christmas. Like they've been worse this season than they are right now.
They were in like December when that's what you said earlier. It was we'd never get to seem to play them when they're on their absolute arse. Like Spurs played them, didn't they? They beat them, and they were like
4-0. But that's when they were at that.
And they were on their arse. Yeah. So and I've just had the new signing. So what do you think of that Mamush?
I thought he looked. Who did they play last weekend when he made his debut? Was it Chelsea? I thought he looked lively in that, but in this game, it didn't really. It looks all fart no poo kind of vibes from yesterday, but like it's one game, right? And I think there's a lot of I think it's hard to make a judgment on a game like yesterday just because we were outstanding. Like I don't think he's going to come up against a team like Arsenal every week, is he? Another stat is the 5 goals allowed are the most that Man City have allowed since September 2020. By the way, so I feel like we always come away from these big games with like some kind of new record or stat or this and that. Like it's brewing. Something is brewing there. It's yesterday it was so cathartic. It was so well needed. I think, like I said, that the way things fell out at the Etihad, like again, we're gonna get gaslit again, right? Because of how we react. But like when someone goes and plants a seed, something is going to grow there, and they did that. And we what do people want? People are such cucks, man. Like what you expect someone to not abuse, but like talk shit to your manager, talk shit to one of your
trash talk, isn't it? It's trash talk.
It's part of the game. I thought this is part, like, fucking enjoy it. Like even the Haaland pointing at the Premier League badge because they won it, like that's part of the game.
Yeah, it's do you know what it is? Until we win something big, it will be used against us, and rightly so, because you do need to put, I'll put your medals on the table, mate, and then we can start talking. And we would be doing it in the other way around. If we were City and we'd had as much dominance as them, and someone was coming along, we'd probably be a little bit like treating them the same, bit rattled. But they are rattled this morning. I've never seen them so rattled.
100%. But this is the thing, mate. Everyone liked us when we were irrelevant in 8th and stuff, right? And getting twatted in these big games, getting bent over. And now they're getting they're all United. They're all getting like lovely entertained when we get beat 6 at Chelsea. 5 we're a serious football club again, and people don't like it.
And that's and they're looking at their club as well. We're like, we're in 16th at the moment, or we're in 15th. So, but yeah, it was. I think it's needed after a bit of a draining January of the fatigue of going to the game. Or my brother went all 5 games of all those home games. So there was awful lot of home games. And it would just needed a big, Amy Lawrence calls it. It wasn't quite the big fuck off away win, but it was a big fuck off home win.
Yeah, and sometimes
and we
they're
needed,
as
and just as if we just need that, and it's a massive boost. And what more of a boost to go into Newcastle on Wednesday?
100%. I mean, where's your head on that? Because I would say,
I think we got a chance. 2 weeks ago, we wrote it off. I was like, but I think we got a chance.
I mean, Bobby was in the chat earlier, popping in quickly whilst at work. Can't stop, lads. But Bobby's going on Wednesday, so Bobby, I'm very fucking jealous, mate. I am, like after the first leg, I say I like talking in terms of probabilities, just because I think it gives a good idea on where someone's headspace is at. So, like probability wise, after the first leg, I was like 5% chance we go through.
Wow.
Genuinely. Like, I just didn't see us going there and overturning it. And then the way things have happened and momentum, like Newcastle, they lost back-to-back home games now, Fulham and Bournemouth.
Yeah.
I've seen their fans in some forums saying they look a bit gassed out, a bit tired. Like, momentum is everything in football. And I'm not saying I feel confident we're going to go there and do it. But if I was 5% after the first leg, I'm now 40. Like, so it has grown to the point where I don't think it's impossible at all, and to the point where I'm like, oh Jesus, do I need to find a way of getting myself up to Newcastle now?
I think if we, again, it's cliche, but if we get the first goal early, then
it's on.
But I just worry that I think that's another rivalry that's being generated is the Arsenal Newcastle rivalry, more so from them. We're like, they want us to be their rivals, but we not really. So I think that could be a taste of the game. It'll be nice to, but don't we then? If we do, isn't that when we get a double game week
for fantasy football? Yeah.
Well, but it's also for an Arsenal getting them as well, because Liverpool have got. If you look at it in the next few games, Liverpool's fixtures are piling up, which is quite good for us. You've still got Everton. Look at that. If that game was played 6 weeks ago, I feel more confident about an Everton getting a draw next week.
They look right under boys, don't they?
So, we've just got.
I think that if we do get to the final, I think it brings our game against Chelsea forward.
But
I don't know when that would be.
So
like in the month of Feb somewhere.
Yeah. So just worried about but we haven't got that knockout round of the Champions League, have we? So, so that might be in there.
Yeah. Just one more stat that I've seen, which I want to read out, was on Erling Haaland's performance. He obviously got his goal, but he got one shot off to score. And outside of that, he had 6 passes received and 40% pass completion. He committed more fouls than passes completed.
And Ethan had more touches than him in his substitute appearance than Haaland did.
Did he really? And that's the thing. Like, I know he got his goal right, but mate, the centre backs kept him quiet again. And Gabriel, I do like this again. I like seeing that back. And even like the one, I do think there are certain things that cross a line, like the throwing the ball at the head. I do think that crosses a line and stuff like that. I think like the pointing at the badge, there's nothing wrong with shit like that. I like stuff like that. But like again, I sound like a kindergarten. When did I go American? I sound like a nursery kid. Like they started it, and it's like I think people are such cucks. Like if someone starts on you, you're not going to just sit there and kind of take it. You're going to rise up to it. So like I don't know what people expect.
Yeah, but you've got the Liverpool City relationship, which has never been that's all about being cucks, isn't it? Like they're so. That's not a rivalry to me. That's not that's manufactured shit. So
you've seen this? What my mate Lee's put in the chat. Gary Neville's already saying he didn't like Gabriel celebrating in front of Haaland. I hadn't seen that, but like, does it surprise you? No.
But it's okay for Haaland. But I didn't say. I think he might have said during the game as well, Neville, that he finds it nothing wrong with the way that Haaland went for Gabriel with the ball. So there's nothing wrong in that.
But you can't celebrate in front of him.
But you can't celebrate. And Gabriel so that's a version of he celebrated their goal by chucking the ball at Gabriel's head.
Yeah.
And Gabriel had his head up. He had his covered as well, didn't he?
With his shirt,
So he didn't even know who it was. So Gary Neville is a special breed.
He is. He is someone that you can tell he is not able to be objective when he's
No.
speaking about certain football clubs. Just shout out. I think there are a few people that were in that. I kind of put up their comments, but didn't really speak to some of them. Just shout out to you. Bobby was in, Lee was in. I said my mate Tevin was in. He's a Liverpool fan actually. So Tevin's in. Delia's in. Nice to see you, mate. Get in. She has so much work to do, but she just wants to celebrate with us. The footy corner's in. Welcome, mate. What's this? Silver should have been off yesterday, but was that when he kicked Trossard?
Trossard, yeah.
Yeah, like again, like I forgot about that actually.
But it was a. I didn't see too much of it, but again, we don't need to talk about that this week because we will just be. I'm very wary of being labelled as those.
Yeah, you don't want to be the boy who cried wolf right?
all of the time. You know, it was. Yes, I absolutely agree. It was a yellow, but I'm glad that it didn't.
You seen this? What the footy corner said? Apparently, Neville's saying that Haaland should smash Gabriel. No way, flipping! I can't. Is that real?
Well, you wouldn't put it past Neville, would you?
No.
He's, the man's got hugely biased. So,
yeah, big time. But I find it weird because it's like both teams are your rivals. So like, and Liverpool's in there as well. So I mean, he's someone that I have really detached from kind of general media outlets and like the overlap. Like, I don't consume any of that crap because I think it's all clickbait driven nonsense nowadays.
I started watching it. I think I watched 1 or 2 episodes and I saw the vibe of the show and the narratives that they were trying to.
It's very Arsenal fan TV.
Yeah, it's like not for me.
Nah, me either. Is there anything you feel like we've missed or you want to cover before we get out of here? Just trying to think. We kind of covered all the goals. I'm just looking through the lineup. Was there any players that we didn't cover?
Odegaard,
he was positionally, by the way. Like again, like I don't. There are games where you review tactics, and there's game where you review emotions. And I think this was more of an emotions game. But like, I'm a tactical nerd. One thing I don't like his positioning in the first half was really interesting. I don't know if you clocked this from row 1, but like. We speak about Odegaard coming. All right, we speak about Odegaard coming deep quite a lot, don't we, to facilitate? Mate, he was literally the deepest player in position in moments in this game. Like he was dropping to the centre backs, and like you could tell it was to draw City out and then create space for us to. And that when I said earlier, like we manipulated space really well and stuff. I think Odegaard was central to that, and I do you know what? I weirdly sometimes prefer him coming to that extreme of dropping deep because I think sometimes he gets caught in this no man's land where he's kind of just outside of the opposition block and can't get in between the midfield and defense. So I almost sometimes rather he goes to that extreme to bring them further out and then create space for somewhere else to go in. And that was just something I noticed on him. But I thought he stepped up. What did you think of him?
I thought it was really good. But it was interesting to hear what you're saying because that's what I was sort of hoping you would look at would be stuff like that because I never got a chance to see that from down that low. But it was good. We need him. He's been off the last couple of weeks, hasn't he? So it was good to see him back to his best and as fit and pressing as hard as he was.
Our press yesterday was absolutely unbelievable. I mean, we spoke about it already in terms of how the first goal came about, how the Havertz chance came about, but like we set them a trap that they could not get out of. Like we overwhelmed them. Like it was.
I don't think they were expecting that to be done to them as good as it was, as hard as it was. They were like they was almost shelter, and I think it did help with that goal straight away, doesn't it? After that press, get that goal. And then they have the second goal, and then suddenly their heads are all over the place. You could see that they're turning around, and then it was almost like compounded by the deflections because I think that was getting them down a bit.
Yeah. When it rains, it
another
pours.
Another deflection. I think So
do you know what I think the biggest indicator of how good we were structurally was? There were a couple of moments in the first half where. Again, they had their possession without it really translating into anything. But Stones and Foden in periods were having a bit of handbags, like constantly.
Oh, really?
Just like, where do you want me to pass it? Where do you want me to go? And like, I think that is the biggest indicator of your structure being good when they because I think Stones is a very good ball player. Foden, for all of, in my opinion, his flaws, is quite good at finding space. They couldn't really facilitate that, and we were forcing them out wide, and they were doing. Again, it felt like a bit of what we watch with us sometimes, where like you can't. access central areas and you're being forced out wide without really feeling like you're doing anything with it. And
Yeah,
I just thought handbags was a bit dramatic, but like they were definitely having a little bit of a go at each other in terms
yeah,
of
yeah.
where do you want me to pass it, where do you want me to go and stuff. And I thought that was good. But yeah, what a day. I just think we needed something like this. It feels like it's been brewing with Man City, and like the New Year's Day 2-3 years ago, whenever that was, we
Well, then
beat
they
them 1-0
spanked us
last year.
4-1, didn't they, up there when we had Holding and absolutely
Yeah.
pulled our pants down. We've had some bad ones. I would say, I remember it must have been about 3 or 4 years ago, and I was going into the game and the ticket didn't work. So we had to go to the box office. This is why the Arsenal City
Which game was this?
So it's Arsenal
4-1?
City. It was about, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. And I've looked at trying to get a ticket for the box office to be sorted in the queue. There's a big screen there in the room. And by the time I got my ticket sorted, loaded onto the card, we were 2-0 down.
Oh.
So I'm going into the ground like 15 minutes after the kickoff, 2-0 down against that City. You just know you've got no chance.
Yeah,
so it was nice yesterday.
Look how far
a lot of things was a release yesterday.
Big time, absolutely. And I think it couldn't happen to a nicer club even. Like I think they are the biggest sore losers I've ever seen in my life. That like they've bought their way to where they are. There's the elephant in the room on the charges, and I mean, like we'll see what happens there in terms of how they've actually got to where they are. But I think they are a soulless, empty club that are so entitled. And again, I've said this before, like I know people have their opinions on Liverpool. I have respect for Liverpool as a football club because of how they've got to where they are. Like they're a proper football club. Like we're rivals, like we don't like things about them, but like you can respect them as a football club. There's nothing about City I can get behind. And
they're I think also it's nice to see the invincibility, the aura's going from them.
Time. Do you see Pep getting it back from this move?
No.
Because like they obviously spent quite a bit this January. But do you think they'll spend in the summer? And
that's again. Let's see what the charges are. No, I think well, clip it up and play it back to me next year when they.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was almost talk of if they'd won yesterday, then they're 6 points, only 6 points behind us, weren't they?
I think they were 6 points already.
No, if they'd won, it was 9, or was it? I don't know. I thought, I think that. But anyway, you don't want them closing the gap, do you?
Yeah.
So
no, the gap is 6 points. Oh no, mate, you're right. Sorry, the gap is 9 points. Yeah. Oh, my bad.
So they know, and then suddenly there's well, you can imagine it. We had our worst season ever, and we still finished above you. We don't want that.
No, I think they're done. I think they're done at the top level. I don't see them coming back from this again. That will come back and bite me in the arse, no doubt. But I think there's one too many things going wrong for them now, and we'll see how we get on. Final one before we get out of here. It is deadline day. Do you think we're going to sign anyone?
Not looking encouraging, is it?
No,
really.
There was a few cryptic tweets last night, weren't there? On the socials?
Then
Nico Williams wasn't in the Bilbao squad last night.
So I haven't really caught up on all that kind of stuff. I'll do that on the train back. But I missed the geezer outside with a dildo in his hands, waving it around. So it's not like the old days. So I'd love Watkins. I've now convinced myself I want Watkins, but I don't think we're going to get Watkins. So
no, I don't think we'll get someone either. But I think there will be efforts. I think we'll see a couple of bids. I think we'll see another bid for Watkins. I think we'll see a bid for someone that hasn't really been publicly big in the news or anything. But I think fundamentally we'll end up with no one. But we'll see. Like I think I don't want to put a dampener on things. Like the deadline. The deadlines today we'll have a moan tomorrow accordingly. But
because it's going to be there's going to be a meltdown within the fan base if we don't sign anyone, and that's the unfortunate thing. And I know we do need to, but as you rightly say, let's just enjoy last night. And we can worry about the transfers today, but I'm not optimistic that we're going to get anything. I'd love to. I'd love a surprise, but I don't think so.
Yeah, me too. But like you said, it's just enjoy yesterday. Get yourself in the mood for Newcastle because it's improbable, but it's not impossible. I think Newcastle at the minute. So yeah, just soak in yesterday. Like, days like this. Again, that tweet that I read out earlier about success being defined by trophies, but the kind of experience and joy of watching football. Like, these are the games that it's about. Like, if you can't celebrate winning a game against the reigning champions where you win 5-1 at home, I think football is not for you. So fuck everyone that tells you how you should be feeling this morning. Enjoy it. Thanks for putting up with a hungover Mike and I. Yeah, my voice was definitely a little croaky, head feeling a bit foggy, but really enjoyed this. Thanks everyone that was in. There was a lot of you in the chat. Please drop the stream a like if you're watching live. Subscribe to the channel. I think I'm almost at 350 subs, so the road to 400 begins. If you're listening on audio, please give it a 5-star review. And as I always say, just share this with your Gooner mates. Word of mouth goes a long way. Uncle Mike, pleasure as always. Safe journey back. Rub it into those mank so-and-sos.
I'm looking forward to getting back up there.
Lovely stuff. On to Newcastle. Humble. Stay humble indeed. Cue Kendrick Lamar. Up the Arsenal.